Imagine making money just by speaking languages you already know. I taught English in a Spanish school, worked in various positions across different countries, and eventually started my own project, which now earns me a living. I am a digital nomad, meaning I can work and live anywhere I want. I have a geographical freedom. As you can see, I'm recording this video in Thailand in January. The weather is simply beautiful. In my country, in Poland, it's very, very cold right now. And I want to say a big thank you to languages, because without languages, most probably my life would have been very different. And the best part, you can do it as well, even if you don't feel fluent yet. No worries, I got you covered. In today's video, I'm sharing my story of how I went from cleaning toilets in the UK to earning a living using the languages I know, and how you can start doing the same today. Let's dive in. Guys, just to make things clear before we start, I am a Polish native speaker. I am from Poland. I learned English and I learned Spanish in my adult life. I wasn't a bilingual kid. My both parents are Polish, and to be honest, I wasn't fluent in any language different than Polish until the age of 19. So my journey started when I was 17 with small hostess gigs. So who is a hostess? A hostess is a person who welcomes guests during some events, serves coffee. So when I was 17, 18, I lived in Warsaw, and this is how I was earning my first money. Then when I was 18, I went to Spain to be an au pair. Au pair is some kind of a babysitter. You go to a different country, in my case Spain, and you take care of children, and in return they give you a nice room and some, pocket money, as I call it. Then I moved to the UK when I was 19 with my ex-boyfriend. Let's leave that part aside for now, but we moved to the UK. And to be honest, that was the only good thing from our relationship. We moved to Manchester. So I already talked about it in my last video. You can watch it somewhere here. The accent in Manchester is, let's call it, challenging, guys. I was terrified. I didn't know how I'm gonna do it. I didn't know how I'm gonna find a job with my broken English. I had some health problems because of the stress that I was going through, but I managed to find two jobs. So I was working two full-time jobs. The first job was pretty good. I was working as an admin clerk in one of the big logistics companies. You know this saying, fake it until you make it? So I was applying that. I made some mistakes because basically I didn't understand the task that I was given. I was earning more or less £8 an hour. I was 19, no education, broken English. This for me was the salary of my life back then when I was 19. I found a second job, and this time I was a cleaner in Pizza Express. I was earning 4 pounds 50, something like this, an hour, and it was a hard job. Sometimes I worked overtime just to make more money, 12 hours a day, connected with the other job. Sometimes it was 16, 18 hours a day. Crazy. It was crazy, but I did it. I made my money, and finally I was able to make my dream come true, and I traveled the world, as you can see here, back then with my ex. But anyway, it was something really, really big for me. And this is when I really understood that languages will give me money. Then after working in the UK, I was during my gap year. Gap year is a year when you don't study, basically. I graduated from high school and I was about to go to university. During this gap year, I worked in various positions across different countries. I picked grapes in Germany. I was a waitress in Malta. I was earning, I remember, five euros an hour plus tips. Now, come on, guys, it was some kind of a joke, a bad joke. But back then I was like 20 and I accepted because I didn't have any other option. I found this job by basically walking and asking at different restaurants if they have a job for me. And one guy had a job for me. My English really, really improved at that time because I was kind of forced to interact with clients. As I think about it, practice makes progress. And also, if you are pushed not too much, but you need to be pushed somehow by external circumstances or internal circumstances, because you can make a decision today that, okay, I'm going to improve my English, I'm going to improve my Spanish, I'm going to improve my German, or whatever language you are learning. And I'm going to do everything it takes to improve this language, to make more money. It was a difficult but great time. I was traveling the world, I was making money, on the go. Then I came back to Poland. I also worked in duty free shops at the airports in Warsaw just to make even more money. When I started university, my major was English philology, by the way, and I started teaching kids. I enjoyed it, but I knew that there is something more than that. I gained a lot of experience. So I was doing that for quite some time. I was studying at university in Warsaw, but to be honest, I didn't really enjoy the experience because I felt that I was learning really useless things. They made me memorize some random facts from the history of Great Britain or the US. Nothing really important, nothing that would bring real money. And by the way, I was paying for this university a lot of money, so I was kind of in debt and I really didn't like it. Then in 2020, you know what happened, right? So I started studying online, and after 1 year or so, I was still teaching online. After 1 year or so, the borders finally opened. I set myself free from a very toxic relationship. I broke up with my ex and I packed my backpack and I started traveling. I didn't have a lot of money, guys. And I went to the Canary Islands, Spain. It was always my dream to live in Spain and learn Spanish. So during the pandemic, I started learning Spanish, I would say, because I started watching Spanish and Latin shows on Netflix. I didn't understand anything. I was just watching, watching, and watching the full immersion. We will talk about it in a second because this is very important for you to learn. Traveling to the Canary Islands was a very big turning point in my whole life. I was in a very dark place when it comes to my private life. I didn't know what I wanted. I knew that I want to quit this university because it didn't make any freaking sense, to be honest. And I started to think, how can I use that money that I pay for that university to do something that matters and that helps other people? I met my boyfriend. He's a YouTuber and he inspired me a ton. I stayed in Tenerife and I started this project. I started Wannaspeak by Veronique. The beginnings were terrible, very difficult, very, very difficult. And I didn't speak Spanish back then. I spoke just English and Polish. Okay, so I decided to start this project in English. For 2 years, no one was listening, guys. I got maybe, I don't know, 100 views per video, 200 views per video. No one was watching. My accent sucked because I was still before my American accent training. My accent is still not perfect, but I guess you understand me better than back then. So I'm laughing now, but back then I was crying, believe me. And I was terrified. I was terrified, guys. But Spain is not a cheap country to live. And I needed to invest in my camera and, some mics and some gear in general. So I was like, I need a job. For now, I need to work for somebody else because these classes can pay my food, maybe, but not more. And I found a job as an English teacher in Tenerife, in Santa Cruz de Tenerife, for 6 months. And that was cool. That was a very nice experience. I needed to sign the contract in Spanish and I needed to talk to my Spanish coworkers because like nobody there spoke English, just a few English teachers. A very stressful experience again, but this is where the real growth happens. The growth was enormous. But then after 6 months, I decided to quit because I didn't really feel that I can grow in that job. If you work for the government in any country, is that okay, you're gonna make this money for the rest of your life? I didn't want that. I wanted more, guys. I started working very, very hard on my self development, a mindset, the mindset of abundance. It's a lot of inner work through all of these experiences. I think inner work is as important as external how. In a second, I'm going to tell you how to do it. But now I'm telling you, without inner work, it's gonna be very difficult for you to achieve what you want to achieve and make, uh, a lot of money. I focused on one thing. Can you guess what my one thing was? You were my one thing. I wanted to focus on helping and impacting a lot of people. When I quit that job, I committed myself to posting one reel a day and one euro video a week. And I was doing that for a long time. I needed to wait. I needed to be very patient. In January 2023, when I was here in Chiang Mai 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago, I started getting my first partnerships. Brand deals are basically ads that I create for companies. Let's take Busu as an example. Busu is an app. I have an audience of English learners or language learners here on YouTube. I promote this app. I tell you that this app is great. I use it myself, by the way. Every brand that I promote, I checked myself, I use it myself, and I know how it works and that it's effective. So basically, I talk to you about this, and this is how I make money. Now, guys, I record ads in 3 different languages. In English, obviously, I use Polish, my native language, to record some ads for some brands. For example, LifeXP, Praktika, Promova. I think I recorded some videos in Polish for them as well, and in Spanish. Oh, I need to add one more thing. I continue my one-on-one sessions, but right now I work only with women who want to improve their lives and heal trauma. It's more like life coaching because this is the direction that I want to go in my life in general. Life coaching, trauma healing, self development, and at the same time, they want to improve their English. So, this is what I do now: partnerships and one on one sessions with these wonderful women. To be honest, when I started learning these languages, I had no freaking idea how I'm gonna monetize these languages. But it kind of happened. Sometimes when you start a new thing in life, you don't know where exactly it's gonna lead you. You just need to trust the process. You just need to trust God or the universe or whatever you wanna call it. Just trust the process, do your job, create good daily habits, learn this language, and wonderful opportunities will visit your life. I know what you might be thinking. That sounds good, Veronica, but what about me? Where to start? You can do it too. You don't have to know 5 languages or have years of experience. All you need is a willingness to use what you already know and take the first step. As I took my first step when I moved to the UK, that was scary. Yes, that was even terrifying. But I did it. So if I did it, of course you can do it as well. So here's how you can start making money with languages. Step number 1, work for someone else to gain experience and learn new skills. Without all of these experiences that I told you about, I wouldn't be here. I worked for somebody else. I let somebody else, my ex bosses, teach me. Teach me something. Teach me how to work. Teach me how to hire people. Teach me the new skills, the work environment, how to behave, during a business meeting, or even how to, I don't know, do these freaking dishes in the UK. And of course, then you can continue working for somebody else, have a good salary. It's up to you. It's your life, your decisions. Step number 2, if you want to take it a step further, use your unique skills, something that you really love, something that you are passionate about, to find remote jobs or freelance gigs. If your goal is to work as a digital nomad, to have geographical freedom, you can do it by working how? Remotely. You can obviously start your own project, but if that's not for you, I found 2 websites. One is called Upwork and the other Fever. And there is where you can find a lot of freelance gigs. Look at all of these categories. You can find something for yourself. And at the beginning, maybe you're gonna start earning, I don't know, $10, $20 an hour. But then when your skill grow, the sky is the limit, my friend. If you want to teach a language, you can become a teacher on Preply, for example, or LifeXP or italki. There are a lot of websites where you can become a private tutor. Don't be afraid to start small. Every job applies to your experience. As I mentioned before, I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be the same person without all of these experiences. Step number 3, think outside the box. If you want to make a lot of money online and if you want to do something different, maybe you feel that, I feel stuck. I want to change something. So think outside the box. And as I said, self development is going to help you a ton. Use your creative mind. Think, okay, I speak this language, and maybe this language. Okay, I love, for example, self development. How can I connect these things together to start making money? And guys, the sky is the limit. Reprogram your subconscious mind, and you will see that the abundance will come to your life. As I told you, I invested in a mentor and I started reprogramming everything in my subconscious mind. And I wrote a really, really cool phrase, and I would like to read that. So here we have my journal. Let me read this one sentence for you. Results come with a delay. What you have now is a reflection of what you were. What you are now is what you will become. You get it? So you need to change the way you behave. You need to change the way you think. You need to change the way you act to have a different result. And everything is possible. So think about it and think how you can connect your passion with the languages you know to create something big. Everything that I'm going through right now is gonna become my future. I really want to impact lives. That's why I continue improving my English. That's why I continue improving my Spanish. That's why I continue improving everything in my life to become this person that I want to have the results from. And now, most probably, you are thinking, but I'm not fluent yet, so is this possible for me? Or how can I become fluent to really start making more money? Here are my top tips to improve any language fast. Number 1, full immersion. Full immersion means surrounding yourself with this language. This language, your target language, has to be in every area of your life. Every area of your life. For example, you are going to the gym. I'm gonna go to the gym after recording this video. You walk on the treadmill and you listen to a podcast in your target language. When you want to unwind and relax, you watch something, a movie, a YouTube video in this target language. You speak to as many people as you can. Start thinking in this language. How? By immersing yourself fully. I know, my friends, this video is so long, again, as the previous one. Anyway, the next tip is consistent practice. By full immersion, you should already find it easier to practice daily because you need to do it daily. When I was learning Spanish, I learned Spanish in just 7 months. I wasn't like, okay, maybe tomorrow. No, that doesn't exist. It cannot be in your dictionary. Tomorrow is today. So you need to do it today and you need to do it every single day. I really recommend having fun. When I was learning Spanish, I was watching shows on Netflix. You may find it stupid, but it was brilliant, to be honest. I was having fun. I would watch these shows anyway, but I was doing that in Spanish. So my brain was already immersed and I was picking up the phrases, the sentences faster than when I would study with a textbook. The next tip, speaking. I know that speaking is the most difficult part for the majority of learners. For me, it was as well. I was terrified. I was afraid of speaking. I was afraid of judgment that native speakers will laugh at me or something. But who cares? Your goal is so big. Your vision is so big that this language is going to help you achieve this goal. And this language is a tool. So you don't care if somebody is going to judge you. You just need to think that, okay, I'm going to use this language to get there. Here, I mix language learning with self-development. But for me, these two things are inseparable. As to make more money, you need to have a high level of self-development. To learn a language, you need to have a high level of self-development. Because if not, you're going to struggle as hell. Find your own way to enjoy the process. At the end of the day, you need to try different things to see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Language learning has to be personalized. This is actually the next tip. Language learning has to be personalized. It has to be connected to something that you love, something that you like, to your life, your kids, your husband, your lifestyle. The final tip is to set realistic goals. Your goals can't be too big. I mean, you can have a big vision, yeah? For example, my vision, I want to impact as many women as possible on their path to heal their trauma, to learn any language they want, to then use this language as a tool to achieve their big life goals. But now I am focused on something smaller that will bring me closer to that success. So, as my mentor says, 90 days. Set a goal for the next 90 days. You don't have to become perfect in 90 days. You don't have to become that person from your big vision. But what will take you a step closer to that vision? So, to give you an example from my life, I gained a lot of fucking weight during the last months because I discovered my trauma. Long story, okay? But I started my therapy because I touched the rock bottom, to be honest, with my weight. It was too fucking much. It was too much. That was my boundary. I cannot be that. I want to be the best version of myself. So, my goal for the next 90 days is to become physically healthy. I go to the gym every single day. I don't even skip Sundays. This is what will bring me closer to my goal. If I'm in a better physical shape, I'm gonna be more confident. If I'm gonna be more confident, I'm gonna create better content. If I create better content, I will impact more people. I will make more money, obviously, because this is how it works. Set a language goal for the next 90 days. In the next 90 days, I'm gonna do whatever it freaking takes. For example, I'm gonna speak every single day to myself, to ChatGPT, to some app, to some tutor, you name it, to be able to communicate myself in the next 90 days. It is totally achievable. Everything depends on who, my friends? You. Everything depends on you. I hope that my story somehow could inspire you. I'm reading your comments. You know that I love to chat with you. Hit this subscribe button. For you, it's absolutely cost free, but for me, it means a lot. I'll see you in my next video. Have a beautiful day and set these goals, all right? Bye bye.